All right, guys. So we're going to be switching gears a little bit for our next unit, and we're going to be talking about circles. Today, we're going to be talking about circumference of a circle. All right. Circumference. So, say I have a circle. Circumference is the distance all the way around the outside of the circle. All right. Say you're some sort of person that you order pizza, and instead of eating the pizza, you want to find the distance around the pizza. Well, after today's lesson, you'll be able to do that. All right. So there's two formulas for circumference. The first is C equals pi times D. D is the diameter, which would be the distance across the circle. All right. The next one is C equals 2 pi r. R is the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside. So it's half of the diameter. That's why in this formula you have to multiply it by 2 because you have to double it. Okay. The other thing is pi. We've worked with pi before, but pi is a never-ending number as far as we know, but we're going to end it at 3.14. Okay. You also might see it as 22 over 7, an improper fraction. If you type that into your calculator, 22 divided by 7, you're going to get 3.14 and a bunch of other digits. Okay. That's equal to pi as well. All right. So, say we have a circle, and the diameter is 20 feet. What would the radius be in this case? Well, like we said, diameter goes all the way across. That's 20 feet. The radius is the middle to the outside. So the radius here would be 10 feet. Makes sense because it's going to be half of the diameter. All right. Conversely, we have a circle. That's a really bad circle. I don't feel good about that circle. All right. I'm going to get better at this touchscreen stuff, guys. I promise. All right. So we have a circle. That's better. And we're told the radius equals 7 meters. Diameter then, well, if the radius is the middle of the circle to the outside, right, the diameter is double the radius. So the diameter in this case would be 14 meters. You take the radius, multiply it by 2, you get the diameter. All right, so we want to be able to go back and forth between radius and diameter. All right, so say we have a circle. All right, and it is 5 meters from the middle to the outside. So it has a radius of 5 meters. So what formula would I use? Well, I would use the C equals 2 times pi times r. So I'm going to plug in 2, and pi is, we're going to use 3.14, right? Oops, forgot my 1, times my radius, which is 5. So that looks a little sloppy, but that's 2 times 3.14 times 5. And I'm going to get a circumference of 31.4 meters. Don't want to forget your units. So say this is, we learned about in social studies how they would use circular towers at the corners of castles because circular towers were hard to knock over. Say an architect wanted to build one and he wanted to know the circumference of that tower. Well, if you walked around the outside of this would be 31.4 meters. All right. Let's do another example. Let's use the other formula this time. So we're given a circle and we're told it's 28, we'll use millimeters across the entire thing. Okay. So remember, in this case, we're going to use the formula C equals pi times D for diameter because we're given the diameter. All right. And how about I'm going to plug in 22 over 7 for pi. I'm going to multiply that times 28. Now, you could use 3.14. I'm just going to put 22 over 7 in parentheses. I'm going to multiply that by 28. That's going to be the same thing, and it's going to get me a circumference of 88 millimeters. So it's 88 millimeters around that entire circle. So maybe this is like a watch, you know. If you entered 3.14 in, you would have gotten 87.92. Remember, 3.14, we're rounding pi. All right, that's not pi exactly, so it's going to be a little different from 22 over 7. But you can see how these are very close. Okay, so basically you have to do a little rounding. All right. Finally, we have semicircles. Which is basically 1/2 of a circle. If you play basketball, there's a semicircle at the top of the key where guys shoot free throws from. So a semicircle is like this. Okay? It's missing the rest of the circle. All right, so you might be asked to find the perimeter of a semicircle. All right, so say this is your semicircle, and they'll tell you, I don't like that one. All right, we're going to try that again. All right, and they're going to tell you that it's 6 meters this side, right? Well, if this was a full circle, my diameter would be 6 meters. But in this case, it's a semicircle, so that side of the semicircle is 6 meters. So how do I find the perimeter? Remember, the perimeter is a distance all the way around this entire shape. All right, it's sort of like the circumference because it's also the distance around the shape. All right, but we have to figure it out by thinking, okay, if this was a full circle, right, wouldn't this part be half of the circumference? All right, so let's do pi times d divided by 2 because we need 1/2 of that theoretical circumference. All right, so this we're going to do 3.14 times 6 and divide it by 2. All right, 3.14 times 6 divided by 2 is going to give us 9.42. All right, but that's just this. All right, the perimeter is going to be the distance around the entire thing. So I'm going to have to add 6. And I'm going to get 15.42 meters. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea of how to do all the possible questions in this section. You're going to have some classwork. Please refer back to these notes or send me questions, and I will try to clarify things to the best of my ability, and hopefully you guys gain an understanding. Make sure you don't forget your units, all right? Meters or inches or feet and so on. All right, have a